thanks so much for joining me for this Get Ready With Me featuring my 2022 favorites so far. If you tuned into the recent video, I talked about my 3 favorite products in each major category. So I'm going to try to put on as many as I can for you today. I couldn't get to all of them, but I tried on as many as possible. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead and try something. I actually use this product, the Clé de Peau Brightening Enhancer Veil, just with powder on the daily, but I'm going to try it under foundation. I actually experimented a little bit before this. It does lighten up the foundation a little bit, but I love the smoothing effect that it has. This does have SPF 32, and we're actually going out here in a little bit, so I wanted to put some SPF on my skin first. I just love the appearance of my skin. It's much more smooth looking. I'm going to show you how I use this Even Up Daily in combination with this. And actually the white cast isn't as bad on this Clé de Peau as it initially looked, I think, in that first video. I've been using it, like I said, every day. And the other day I went out without foundation and just this, and it looked fine with just a little bit of powder. But I take a little bit of the Even Up product and I'll apply it just for a little extra blurring, a little extra SPF right here on the dark spots. Get a little more protection on those darker areas, and then kind of where I conceal is where I'll put this. And then it does a really nice job of helping to control oil as well. And this definitely has a white cast. I know I don't use this on camera as much, but I think it's good to see how this looks. And then we'll apply some foundation on top. So now we've got SPF on, some brightening. Let's go in with the number 1 de Chanel. This is in BD 41. And since it's a little bit warmer, I'm just gonna go in with a little bit of the Ultra Le Temps by Chanel in BD 41 as well. And I really just put like barely, not even a half a pump, but yeah, definitely looks lighter, but it's okay. Powder helps quite a bit, so we'll get there. Let's go in with concealers. Sisley number 4. La Prairie. And as you can see, I actually haven't added any Clé de Peau concealer yet. So that's how much that helps blur between those 2 SPF products. But of course I will go in with just a little bit more concealer. This is in the shade Mocha. And that's a key area for me to conceal right here as well, because that'll impact the shape or the appearance of the shape of my eye, because it droops a little bit. So if I fill that in, then you can see more of an almond shape. And then I do apply it right here just to kind of even this whole area out as well. And this brush is so good for eliminating any potential for texture on the skin with added concealer. So that's why I love this one so much. I'm gonna take the RODIAL powder. Yeah, I'm gonna go, like I said, we're going out a little bit later, so I want this to stay in place. So when I do have a longer amount of time when wearing my makeup, I will set with a loose powder and then go in with the blur powder. So I have here the ROEN brush. It's the Everything Powder Brush. And then I have here the RODIAL glass powder. Chantecaille's Perfect Blur Powder in light medium. Just in the front and center. And eyebrows. It just helps with the pencil that I add in a little bit here. Making sure to powder the side of my nose. Sometimes I forget. Next Generation Eye Base by Chantecaille in medium. Let's go in with brows. Gucci. ROEN, just to do a little bit more detailed work here, the front. And any other areas I may have missed. And the tail end as well. Really quick. And then Diorshow Pump and Brow. Let's go ahead with bronzer. I'm going to use the new Terracotta Light by Grwm, and this has been my go-to bronzer every day, and I use it with the Clé de Peau product. It is warm, so if you like warm, you can tell because it's got the warm tones in there. They also have versions with more of a pink tone, so if you want something cooler, that's available as well. This is in the shade 01, and it says here light warm, but on some sites it says something different. But I think if you go with 01, if this is the shade you want, it should be this palette. This is a Guerlain brush. I love the Sonia G, this one, because it gets into the hairline really well too, but that one's not as easily or readily available. So this has worked really nicely with this particular bronzer, especially in the hairline. We'll compare it though. Let's try it with the Sonia G just to see. Actually, I haven't tried this with the Sonia G brush yet because I've been using the Guerlain brush, but let's see how it goes. So I did notice this doesn't disturb the makeup as much as this one. This is a little bit rougher, so it has the potential to pick up other makeup, but this one does a really nice job of just applying color here without disturbing anything. So yeah, when this comes back into stock, make sure to pick it up in case you were looking at it. It's really nice, especially under here as well. It's the G Pro. It's really good. I'm going to use a bit of the Chanel Le Beige Bronzing Cream, the one in the deeper shade, for just under the cheekbone here. Just for a little bit of contouring. Take a little bit more of that powder just to buff it in. Now I'm going to take the Victoria Beckham pencil in navy, which I love as a one and done. I've been doing that a lot during the day. Just a really quick eye, so we'll tight line. And this can be kind of messy, and I'm actually going to take it underneath. So this pencil does have the potential to travel or transfer to the bottom, so I like to line the whole eye with this pencil, because if I get any transfer anyway, it just makes sense to put on the top and the bottom. Plus I like the way it looks. And I love this pencil because you have so much time to work with it before it sets. So let's see if I can do this one-handed here. So I'm just doing a little, it's messy, and that's okay because I'm going to use this side. So this is a great pencil actually, I think, for beginners, because you have lots of room for error, lots of time to adjust, make corrections, and you kind of can't go wrong with this one. It just looks really pretty. And if you smudge it out, you can use your hands like this, just smudge it out, and then smudge it out underneath. So this has been, well, not this much, but it's been a version of my everyday. Okay, let me do the other eye just to even out, but that's just eyeliner, and what a big difference that makes. So I feel like once you do this, you can add anything to it. So let me just even out the other side. So I thought we could go in with this SUQQU palette. Now there's lots of colors going on here, but I thought we could go in with this shade first, this lightest shade, just on the lid. Now it does have some shimmer in there, that lightest shade. Go in with this shade right here, just in the crease. So really easy eye. You could do mascara now. You actually could have put mascara on with just the eyeliner, but I'm gonna go in with something that's such a great staple palette. I've talked about it for a long time. It's the Chanel Tisse Rivoli. And what I love about this palette is that there are so many shades that you can incorporate into other palettes as well. So I'm just gonna take the deepest shade here, this one, and use that in the corner. So you can see how that just deepened it up. So you can see how it plays well with other palettes. And let's take the Tom Ford palette. Let's see. I think we'll take this shade right here. I'm just gonna add that to the center of my eye. This is the Tom Ford Rose Topaz. And now I'm gonna take just a little bit of this shade, the more silvery shade, and put that in between the deepest shade and the lightest shade, so right here. Just the tiniest bit, just to connect the two. And then I'm going to take this lightest shade here and add that to the inner corner. Okay, I'm gonna add mascara. Actually, I'm going to apply two different mascaras for you. I'm going to add Chantecaille's Faux Longest Lash and by Terry's Lash Expert Twist Brush, just so you can see the two side by side. I'm actually glad I did that side by side because I haven't tried them out side by side until now. This is the Chantecaille side, this is the by Terry side. So there are the mascaras in case you ever wanted to see them side by side. We've got the Victoria Beckham blush in Major, and I think this finally came back into stock. This one sold out really quickly, so we're gonna use that here just as a base. I love this one, it doesn't disturb any makeup underneath. And it's just the prettiest color. You can see why this one sold out. And I go in with the Clé brush and I just pick up a little bit of that blush just to control it a little bit better. I'm gonna go in with Clé blush in 105. And I love the Clé blushes, and I think I said this before, because it brings out bone structure because of the glow without bringing out texture. So I'll do one side just so you can see the difference in what I'm talking about. So it catches the light, it gives it a little bit more dimension. It's very subtle, but especially again, when I do editing and I'm playing back the video, I can really tell the difference. Plus it blurs these areas of discoloration for me a little bit more. I know that I talked about bringing about bone structure, but I do like to just blur a little bit more just after I blush with the Perfect Blur Powder by Chantecaille. It just pulls everything together. So this is coming really handy whenever I'm not sure of the lip color. I'll go in with this No. 1 de Chanel in Lively, I think I know by now, it's Lively Rosewood. And I love to just pat this on really easy for a very simple lip, nothing too fussy. You can also decide on the intensity. So you can go in with just a light wash of color like this. You can build it up to be more intense. Let me just add a little more so you can see what that looks like. There's a little bit more added compared to the top, but let me go ahead and even that out. Like I said, a really easy lip. The one I pull for when I'm like, I don't know what to put with this because it's just my lip color, but better. Okay, we are gonna go in with something a little bit more intense. This is one of the new lipsticks by Chanel. I really love this formula. I think it's so pretty. And then for fragrance, I thought Basilico and Fellini would be a lovely one. It has that touch of basil. Yeah, it makes it really fresh, green, and it makes me think of summer. I know we're not in summer yet, but spring moving into summer, it's just such a really beautiful, unique fragrance because of that basil. And that is it for the final look using my favorites of 2022 so far. Like I said, we'll try to do this every 3 months. Yeah, every 3 months. And we're in March now, so actually a lot happened in January, so I feel like that counts for a lot. I didn't pick up as much in February, but I feel like that's probably a good 3 months worth. And we'll do another one of these check-ins in about, let's see, March, April, May, June, in June. And let me know what you've been loving for this first part of the year so I can try them out before I do my next check-in. But that is it for today's video, so please take care of each other. Stay well. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.